Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I thought it was about time that I gave you a bit of an update on where I was with the Jagdtiger 2. So I've already started the paint process. I haven't done a video of that yet because it's basically been putting on MIG one-shot black primer and then the various early stages of the attacker paints, which again, the first one was black, and then the second one was brown primer, which again, that's very dark. So overall the vehicle still looks almost jet black. So the next stage is going to be the first of the sort of colours that go on, which is this red primer base. So yeah, so I'm gonna, what I will do is once I've talked through it now, I'll then go and do some spraying with that red primer base, and I'll video that, and then I'll then come back and have a look and see how that's gone and how that's changed the vehicle visually. So I don't know if I think I mentioned earlier on in one of my previous posts that although I'm going to do this predominantly in this red primer finish, I wanted some other colours in there to sort of break it up a little bit and make it look a bit more interesting. So here I've got the engine deck access hatches and the driver and radio operator hatches, which I've done in a mix of two different Dunkel glebs. One's quite dark and the other quite light, and I'll mess about with those, and sort of so they're not all exactly the same colour. And the same I've done with some of the road wheels and one of the sprockets, just to give it a, make it, as I said, make it look a bit more visually interesting. And the thinking behind this was, it wasn't the fact that they had a little bit of paint, so they painted random parts, more that when these vehicles went back to the factory or were repaired in field, bits would be scavenged off other vehicles if they were written off, and so you would end up getting a few bits and pieces that were painted up in different coloured paints. That's the thinking I'm sort of applying to this, and again, this is a completely what if vehicle, so you're allowed to test these theories out a little bit more. The other thing that's going to be a bit different again is the barrel, which I'm going to do in the heat resistant primer, which is like a dark grey or black colour, and then a semi-gloss finish. The mantlet is going to be, again, that's going to be a different colour, probably another variation on the Dunkel gleb, and the muzzle brake will also be a different colour. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to go with on that yet. I'm still thinking about that. And the other thing, what's it going to stand here? The other thing I've done is the tracks, which I painted those in light grey, Vallejo Air light grey, and I then went over them with a sort of a dusting of sand, and I'll be working on these more, but it's just I'm going to try and get these to get that sort of dull grey steel colour, and then weather them with more paints. So again, just blowing over them with slightly different tones of paints, and then finishing those off with pigments. So it's a bit of an experiment. I've been toying with this and messing about with this process over the last few vehicles, just trying to find a process that I like and visually gives a good representation. So I'll leave that there now. I'll shoot off and start getting some paint on this, and then I'll be back in a bit and carry on. Okay, so I've taken a nozzle protector off of this airbrush because I'm getting a bit of splatter, which when I'm using a different airbrush tool than previously. So with the other airbrush, the one I used for the black and the brown, I didn't have any issues at all. So just interesting that I haven't really done anything different. I'm still thinning this roughly 40-60 airbrush thinner to paint ratio. This is better, so it could well have been that I was just getting the build up on that cap, and that's what was causing my issues. I'm very impressed with these attacker paints. There seems to be, apart from that little bit of issue with splatter, which was the airbrush, not the paint. They're lovely to spray, really nice. You can see here on the glacis I did a bit of repair work. There were some gaps there that shouldn't have been so. Those would do, that white would disappear under the progressive coats of primer. You know, I've got some AK paint sets that I've used, and I really like those. And I would definitely say that this is on a par with those. I'll leave it there for now, and then I can have a better look at it under some better light on my desk, and then decide where to go from there with the next stage. So I'll back at my desk in a second. So that's the model now all sprayed up with the red primer base, and as I said in the video when I was spraying, it's really nice paint. It sprays very well. Obviously I had those couple of issues with some splatter, but that was the airbrush, not the paint. It was the cause there. Just the needle protector cap was getting a bit of a build up in there and then spitting it out. So that was easily remedied, and I don't have to worry about that too late. Much a bit further on in the painting process. It's, you know, you don't want it to be happening at this stage, but it's fixable and manageable. But you know, when you get down to your finishing coats of paint, you don't then want issues with paint splatter ruining the effect. So yeah, so next we are on to red primer flash, which is that one, and then we've got, well, there's one more colour to go then, which is again slightly lighter red primer torrid, and then they do supply a white. If you were wanting to do factory markings on there, you know, armour plating thickness and points to be drilled and points to be cut. I won't be doing that, but I may well use that paint, and I think I've shown these before, and use these stencils. So what I'm hoping is it will give the impression of just a markings put on there pretty quickly with either hand brush painted on or maybe sprayed on, but done just in one colour, just in the white, out the factory. So yeah, so that's, you know, the wheels and sprockets are all done now, so you can see the comparison between the two, if I can get the light to shine on them. So yeah, so I'll be carrying on with that, carrying on with the tracks, but yeah, it's all starting to move in the right direction and get closer to being finished, and I will update you again when I've done some more. So cheers for now.